Hi and welcome to Juna Hardy Yoga. Enjoy your next video. Namaste. Welcome to this short core strengthening sequence. First of all, lying on your mat in Savasana. Really allow your body to relax for a few minutes before you start any yoga practice. When you're ready, take a good stretch. Stretching into the heels and stretching back into the fingertips. And always remember to focus on your breath. Nice deep breaths into the top of the lungs and out. Exhaling and focusing on the exhale breath to relax. Really taking a good stretch. Drawing our knees up to our chest and then inhaling and exhaling. Lengthening the back of the legs. Taking your arms behind your head, linking your fingers and now stretching in the back of the neck. Few breaths to draw your nose up towards your knees while lengthening the back of your legs. Begin to use the core here. Draw your belly button towards your spine. And draw up your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. That pelvic floor is important in terms of looking after your low back. Again, once more, you can widen the legs and inhale, exhale, nose up towards the knees. Exhale up, inhale back. Drop the head back, open the elbows nice and wide to stretch the chest. Lifting the legs, widening the legs. You can do this with the legs together or the legs wide. Legs wide puts more pressure on the tummy muscles and low back. So if you have a weak back, just put one foot down. Knees into the chest. Arms at shoulder height. Inhaling, knees up to the middle. Exhale to the opposite side. Again, drawing in your tummy muscles, keeping the knees off the floor, the feet off the floor. A few twists to the left and right. You can always stop the video whenever you need to do a few more rounds of whichever posture we're doing at the time. Inhaling the arms over the head, take an exhale breath, swing the arms up and come up to sitting and into a forward bend. Main thing with forward bend, again, engage the core and pelvic floor. Take an inhale breath and as you exhale, start to lay back down. Stretch the arms over the head. And as you inhale, lift the arms up and come back up into a forward bend. Exhaling as you come forward into forward bend. Inhale, lift the arms, exhale all the way back. Inhale, lift the arms, exhale, forward bending. You've got tight hamstrings, bend your knees. Always using your core muscles, sucking your belly button towards your spine. Coming into Navasana, boat posture. Boat is very good for strengthening the stomach, keeping the knees bent, shins parallel with the floor, and if you want to, you can release your arms away from your legs. And take a few moments here, a few breaths, and then draw your knees up and nose into your knees. Slowly does it. Focus on your breath. Slowly does it. Coming back into Navasana, boat. And again, you can always stop the video and do 2 or 3 more of these if you feel strong. And then dropping the feet to the floor, taking your head to your knees. Now let's come onto our knees and sit back into Balasana as we continue on with our core sequence. Balasana is a restorative, relaxing posture you can come back to at any time. Look out for the posture tips on how to do downward dog successfully. Coming into downward dog, push your hands into the mat. Draw your heels back towards the floor on the exhale breath. And now we're coming forward into plank, Phalankhasana. Plank is really good for strengthening the tummy. Zip your hips up to your ribs and vice versa. Draw the belly in. Engage pelvic floor strongly. Drop between the shoulder blades. Then drop the hips all the way through. You can bend the elbows and come down into a less steep cobra if you want to. Coming back up into downward dog, lengthening in the back, and then come back down into plank, Phalangasana. Bend the knees and then come into some small push-ups and press-ups. Tuck the elbows in. You can do as many of these press-ups as you like. And then come back up into plank. Then drop the hips through, once more coming into cobra, back bend. Inhaling and exhaling back into plank. Holding plank for as long as you need to. You're coming into a side plank now, dropping the left or right knee down. And coming onto the forearm of one arm. Coming back into plank. Really draw your core in, zip your hips to your ribs, draw the core in, engage pelvic floor, and side plank the other side. So coming down onto the forearm is easier, coming down onto the inside leg is easier. Coming back into plank. Drop the hips once more into cobra, and breathe, exhale as you come into cobra. So you can continue to do that sequence again, the short sequence of plank, side plank, plank and cobra, and then come back into Balasana just for a few moments to really bring your awareness back into your breath. Once more coming down into plank. This time we're going to do a full side plank. Keep the hips lifted, and you can take the top foot backwards to stabilize yourself. Coming onto the opposite side, try not to lock the standing arm. Really lift up with the lifted arm. Keep breathing, listen to your breath all the way. Coming into plank, and then sink down into Chaturanga, bending the elbows, very strong here on the core. Come back up into Cobra and exhale the breath. Tucking the toes under, coming back into Downward Dog, looking after the spine all the way. This is core strengthening, so keep focused on the breath and zipping your hips to your ribs. Come back down into plank. Lots of planks in this sequence just so that you can keep your core strengthened. Sink down through Chaturanga Dandasana, exhale up into Cobra. Very strong in the tummy here, so with Chaturanga dropping between the elbows, you can always drop the knees down. And coming up into Downward Dog once more. And back down into plank, so you could exhale and come back down and up into Cobra, exhaling all the way. You can inhale, tucking the toes, come back up into Downward Dog. You can follow this sequence 2 or 3 times or even 10 times if you're feeling strong. So stop the video wherever you need to. Sink back down into plank and then drop the hips all the way through. This time you can keep the knees off into full up dog or drop the knees down, whichever you choose. Keep focused on drawing that core in. Coming back into Downward Dog briefly and then come down to the knees. Rest in Balasana. Some deep breaths here. Come back to the breath and draw your mind into your practice. Keep focused on the breath, a nice big deep breath. Yoga really is all about the depth of the breath and the peace that you find on your mat. And coming to lie on your back. Taking your arms at shoulder height. Lengthen your legs upwards and then widening the legs. Inhaling and exhaling the arms through the legs now, a little bit stronger than at the beginning of the class. Inhaling, spread the arms backwards. Exhale, bring the hands and arms through the legs, really crunching ribs and hips together. Draw the legs together. And then inhaling and exhaling, right heel down towards the floor, then back up. And then left heel down towards the floor and back up. Again, strong on the tummy. Really engage that belly button towards the spine. Keep the arms stretched over your head. And then draw your knees down to your chest. Hug around the knees briefly. And then come up into full Navasana. Full Navasana is with long legs. It's creating a V shape with your body. Very strong on the tummy. Stay there for a few moments if you need to. And then picking up the big toes and lengthening the legs, widening the legs. Inhaling, open, exhaling back. And then seeing if you can control those tummy muscles and come all the way down from Navasana down to arms lengthened over the head. Inhaling the knees into the chest. And then drop your knees to the left. Breathing and relaxing those knees down. And to the right. Keep breathing, keep focused on the breath, and lengthen the legs up to the ceiling, taking your hands behind your head and some oblique crunches. Inhale the left elbow up to the right knee, exhale back. Inhale the right elbow to the left knee, exhale back. So always exhale on the way up, inhale down. Exhale on the way up, inhale down. Really focus on sucking that belly button towards your spine and engage your pelvic floor nice and strongly. Do as many of these as you need to. Hopefully by now you're really feeling a slightly stronger core. And watch out for any discomfort in the low back. If there is any discomfort in the low back, then maybe back off, draw your knees to your chest and just relax for a while. And some final elbows up to the knees, some crunches. Then drawing your knees into your chest. Drawing the soles of the feet together and stretching your arms over your head. And finally, some crunches just to take your arms between your bent legs. Feet together, Baddha Konasana with the legs, cobbler posture. Some final tummy crunches, lifting the arms, inhaling over the head, exhaling between the legs. And taking a final stretch, really stretch out the tummy muscles. Don't forget to really relax and stretch at the end of your class, the same as at the beginning. And finally relaxing, taking a few moments in meditation, Savasana, to feel your practice. Breathe and let go. Hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comments.